do a math running record with William. William, can you tell us what grade you're in?
3rd grade.
And how old are you?
9.
All right, so here's how this is going to work, kid. This is my son, by the way, so I can call him kid. You are going to tell me the answer to this multiplication problem. That's going to be your first part. You're going to answer these different questions for me, and then I'm going to ask you some questions afterwards, okay?
Okay.
All right, what is the answer to this one?
0.
What about this one?
2. 70. 15. 12. 32.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. You can think about it if you want.
I don't know.
Okay.
This one. 27.
Okay.
I don't know that one.
Okay. Can you come back in a minute, please?
54.
All right. What about this one? 7 times 8.
I don't know that one.
All right. And what about this one?
That one, I think, is 21.
All right. So you did a great job on that. Now I'm just going to ask you some questions about how you did these different problems, okay?
Okay.
All right. So looking back at this first one, 0 times 4, what happens when you multiply a number by 0?
It just stays the same number because you're saying, like, there's 0 groups of it.
Okay. So what would 0 times 8 be?
0.
All right. What about this? When you multiply a number by 1, what happens?
Well, it says there's one group of 2, so that means it's got to be 2 because there's only one group of it.
So what would 1 times 12 be?
12.
What about 3 times 1?
3.
Okay. What happens when you multiply a number by 10?
So, like, so you say you have 10s. If you do 7 groups of 10, then that will give you 70 because it's like counting by 10s, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70.
So what would 8 times 10 be?
80.
All right. This one, 5 times 3, what strategy did you use to solve this one?
Memorization, but you can also just do this, 5, 10, 15.
Okay, so what would 5 times 7 be?
35.
All right. This one, 2 times 6, how did you solve this?
So whenever there's a 2, that means it's just double them, and 6 plus 6 is 12.
So what would 2 times 8 be?
16.
Okay, and you said what do you call that strategy?
Double stacks?
Okay, so then this one, 4 times 8, gave you a little bit of trouble, but you figured it out eventually. So what strategy did you use to solve that?
I did double, and then double, and added those together.
So double, double.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you give me another example of using that strategy, like 4 times 6?
Yeah, 4 times 6.
Yeah.
So 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24.
Okay. All right. This
Double burger.
Oh, like an In-N-Out burger. I like that. All right. How do you multiply by 8?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm just going to put a little dot right here because that should be one that maybe we practiced. We come up with a strategy for 8s. Okay, what about when you multiply by 3? You thought about this one for a while too. 3 times 9.
I was trying to figure it out, but instead I multiplied by 9s in that one.
Walk me through what you did.
So, like, you can also, like, if you switch, just like addition, you can switch the numbers in multiplication around and there's the same answer.
Okay, do you know what that's called? That turning them around thing? That's okay. It's called the commutative property. But
Oh, yeah, I know that.
you've heard that word before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just I keep forgetting.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a different one then. What about 3 times 6? How would you do that?
3 times 6?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you do double, and then you add another 6 to it. So it would be after 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
All right, that's cool. All right, what about this one? How did you solve 6 times 7? Or was that one of the ones you said you weren't sure of?
I wasn't sure of that.
Okay, all right. Do you have any strategies for when you multiply by 6?
No.
Okay. And then this one, 9 times 6.
I use the 9 thing.
Well, what's the 9 thing?
So you have 10 of these.
Mm-hmm.
And so you count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You put your 6th finger down. So that would be, and how this is the 10s, this is the 1s. So it would be 50, because there's 5, 4.
Okay, could you do that to show me 9 times 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you put your 8th finger down. And so that would be, oh wait. So you put your 8th finger down, and you see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 72.
Okay. 7 times 8 is a tough one, huh?
Yep.
How do you multiply by 7s?
I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. Okay, and then this one right here, 4 times 4. Do you know what kind of a number, what kind of a problem that is? When you have the same 2 numbers?
I remember I learned something. I just can't remember. I remember I learned something about that.
Okay. All right, good.
Sometime.
That gives me an idea of what we can work on. So I have a couple
I
more
just can't
questions for you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so first things first, do you like math?
Yeah.
What do you find easy in math?
Usually like multiplication or addition.
Okay, what do you find kind of challenging in math?
Challenging. What I find challenging is, sometimes what I find challenging is like counting by certain numbers. I can count by like 3s, 5s, or 10s.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some numbers like 4s and other 4s.
That are a little bit harder to count by.
And like 6s, that's harder to count by.
Last question. What do you do if you get stuck?
I usually try and make sense of it in my head.
Okay. And then what happens if that doesn't work?
If that doesn't work, I usually ask for help, or I skip that one, go on to the next one, and then after,
Mm-hmm.
I go back and try and solve that one.
That's a good strategy. All right, good job. That's a weird high five. It was backwards. All right. Thank you, William.